I'm about to break down exactly what's unfolding. Why modern women have reached this point of betrayal while still casting themselves as the victims. This isn't about despising women or embracing misogyny. It's about grasping the social conditioning, the evolutionary psychology, and the systemic shifts that have led to this mess. Because until you comprehend the reasons behind it, you'll keep getting caught off guard. You'll keep losing everything to it. You'll keep questioning how someone who professed love could shatter it all so effortlessly and walk away without a backward glance. Let's face the harsh truth. Women have always possessed the potential for this behavior. The only distinction between your grandmother's era and now is that your grandmother was bound by repercussions. She existed in a society where female infidelity faced punishment, where divorce equated to social ruin, where a woman's survival hinged on preserving her reputation and marriage. Those restrictions weren't random acts of cruelty. They were society's method of upholding stable families, ensuring fathers invested in their children, and sustaining the frameworks that enabled civilization to thrive. Women, like men, are naturally polygamous. This shocks people because we've been sold the falsehood that women are inherently monogamous, naturally loyal, naturally dedicated to one partner. Nonsense. Humans are polygamous beings. We're not swans that mate for life. We're primates who evolved the ability to form multiple pair bonds across our lifetimes. The difference lies in how male and female polygamy impact family stability and social order. When a man strays but still supports his family, provides resources, and protects his children, the family unit holds together. His infidelity, though hurtful, doesn't necessarily dismantle the economic and social foundation. But when a woman strays, it casts doubt on paternity, undermines male investment in offspring, and historically caused the complete breakdown of the family unit. That's why every thriving civilization imposed strict controls on female sexuality while showing relative leniency toward male infidelity, not out of hatred for women, but out of a practical understanding of what jeopardizes families and what doesn't. Then came feminism. Not the pursuit of equal rights, but the demand for equal outcomes without equal accountability. Women sought all the freedoms men enjoyed without any of the responsibilities. They wanted the liberty to sleep around without being labeled. They wanted the right to divorce without losing social standing. They wanted the ability to destroy their families without facing judgment. And society, in its boundless folly, granted them every request. The barriers fell. Suddenly, women could indulge every desire, every whim, every fleeting attraction without consequence. The social shame that curbed destructive actions vanished. The legal system adjusted to shield women from the outcomes of their choices. The culture hailed female promiscuity as empowerment, and women, liberated from all restraints, unveiled what they had always been capable of: levels of cruelty, dishonesty, and betrayal that make male infidelity seem trivial by comparison. Look at what women value today. Not loyalty, not family, not commitment. They value options, excitement, resources they didn't earn. Modern women have been conditioned to view relationships as temporary resource-gathering ventures. They partner with men for what they can gain: money, status, emotional support, children. Then, once they've extracted what they want or found a better prospect, they leave, and the system backs them fully. They take the house, the kids, the monthly payments, while the man who built it all is left with nothing but bills and limited visitation. The social programming runs deep. Every women's magazine, every female-focused TV show, every feminist narrative reinforces the same message. You deserve better. You deserve more. If you're not entirely satisfied, walk away. Your happiness outweighs your commitments. Women are essentially programmed to remain perpetually discontent, always seeking an upgrade, seeing their current partner as a mere stepping stone to something greater. And the fellow traveler effect has been turned into a weapon. Women are told that casual sex with strangers is where they'll find true pleasure, true freedom, true self-expression. That the regular intimacy with their husband is dull and unfulfilling, but anonymous encounters are liberating and empowering. They're encouraged to disconnect emotional intimacy from physical intimacy, to compartmentalize their sexuality, to maintain a loyal facade while chasing satisfaction elsewhere. The manipulation tactics are cunning. A woman will limit sex with her husband, keeping him constantly hungry, always chasing, perpetually insecure. She'll make him feel guilty for desiring her, shame him for his needs, train him to be thankful for scraps of affection. Meanwhile, she's giving everything freely to random men she meets online, in bars, at work. The husband pleading for intimacy once a month, while she's having passionate encounters with strangers multiple times a week. When caught, women never take responsibility. It's always the man's fault. You didn't pay enough attention to me. You worked too much. You didn't make me feel special. You drove me to it. The rationalization machine shifts into high gear, turning her betrayal into his failing. She cheated, but somehow he's the one apologizing, trying harder, buying gifts, planning vacations, desperately attempting to win back someone who was never truly his. The virgin myth needs to fade as well. Men believe marrying a virgin safeguards them from this behavior. Wrong. Virgins are actually more prone to cheat later because they carry an unclosed gestalt. Society tells them they missed out, that they need to explore variety, that they settled too soon. The virgin wife becomes fixated on what she missed, and eventually acts on that fixation. Women who've already had multiple partners have at least partially sated that curiosity. Virgins have it all still ahead of them. The economic dynamics worsen everything. When a woman doesn't contribute financially to the family, she has nothing to lose in divorce. She's been living off male resources throughout her marriage. Divorce doesn't mean losing her income. It means continuing to receive male resources without having to pretend to love him anymore. She gains freedom plus financial support. He gets loneliness plus financial obligation. Reflect on what money truly signifies. It's not merely paper or figures in a bank account. It's a solidified life force. Years of education, decades of labor, thousands of hours filled with effort, stress, sacrifice, risk-taking, and relationship building. When a man loses half or more in a divorce, he's not just losing money. He's losing years of his life handed over to someone who betrayed him. And she feels justified in claiming it because society convinces her she gave him her best years simply by being present. The children turn into weapons. Women understand that courts will almost always grant them custody. They know that threatening to take the children away gives them ultimate control. They know a man will endure almost anything rather than lose access to his kids. So they cheat, they mistreat, they dismantle, aware that the threat of taking the children will keep him compliant, keep him paying, keep him tolerating the intolerable. And when she finally chooses to leave, because it's nearly always her decision, she's already crafted her story. She's the victim. She was miserable for years. She tried so hard. He didn't meet her needs. He was emotionally distant. He was controlling. He was abusive. None of it has to be true. The mere accusation suffices. Society will believe her, support her, praise her bravery in leaving. The man she leaves behind is shattered, not only financially but mentally. He genuinely loved her. He genuinely tried to make her happy. He genuinely believed they were building something together. Discovering it was all a lie, that she could betray him while playing the victim, fractures something core in his grasp of reality. He questions everything, his judgment, his worth, his entire worldview. Meanwhile, she's already moved on. Likely had someone lined up before she left. Women don't abandon one branch until they've secured another. The monkey branching behavior is instinctual. She needs to ensure a steady flow of resources, emotional support, validation. The gap between relationships is minimal because she can't stand being alone, can't stand not having someone to draw value from. The backup men, the orbiters she kept around during the marriage, get promoted instantly. The friend she swore you didn't need to worry about, the coworker who was just being kind, the ex she hadn't spoken to in years. They were all kept as options. She was hedging her bets throughout your entire relationship, keeping multiple men on standby in case you decided to move up. Social media speeds it all up. She can advertise her availability while still married. She can gather validation from hundreds of men while you're at work. She can maintain emotional affairs with multiple people at once. She can explore her options, test the market, lock in her next relationship, all while you think everything is fine. The digital world gives her access to endless alternatives and endless validation. The female support network fuels every destructive impulse. Her friends, her mother, her sisters, they'll all tell her she deserves better. They'll share their own tales of trading up. They'll compete to see who can extract the most from men while giving the least in return. They'll celebrate her infidelity as self-discovery and her divorce as freedom. No one will tell her she's wrong. No one will hold her accountable. The therapy industry worsens it. Therapists, especially female ones, validate every female grievance while dismissing male needs. She goes to therapy and hears that her cheating stemmed from unmet needs, that her desire to divorce reflects personal growth, that destroying her family is about finding herself. The therapist never mentions responsibility, commitment, or the well-being of the children. It's all about her feelings, her desires, her journey of self-discovery. Men are told to forgive and forget. She made a mistake. Everyone deserves a second chance. Think about the children. Don't end your marriage over one slip-up. But forgiving female infidelity is the worst move. It signals weakness. It confirms her disdain for you. It tells her she can act without consequences. The woman who cheats and gets forgiven doesn't become grateful. She becomes repulsed by your lack of spine. The double standard is staggering. When a man cheats, he loses everything: house, children, money, reputation, social standing. He's labeled a cheater forever. He's the villain in every retelling. But when a woman cheats, she's exploring her sexuality, finding herself, escaping an unfulfilling marriage. She keeps everything and gains sympathy. She's the hero of her own liberation story. The education system plays its role too. Girls are taught from kindergarten that they're special, that they deserve everything, that their feelings are everything. They're never taught duty, responsibility, or sacrifice. They're never taught that commitments outweigh emotions. They're never taught that families demand effort, compromise, and sometimes staying when they'd rather go. Instead, they're taught that their happiness is the only thing that matters. The legal system is entirely skewed. No-fault divorce means she can destroy the marriage for any reason or no reason, and still take half of everything. Alimony means she gets paid for failing at marriage. Child support, calculated as a percentage of income, means she's encouraged to leave the highest earner she can find. The entire framework incentivizes women to break their commitments and penalizes men for placing trust in them. The culture of immediate gratification exacerbates it all. Why invest effort in a marriage when you can swipe right and discover someone new? Why confront problems when you can simply depart? Why be content with what you have when social media displays what you could potentially obtain? The abundance mindset fostered by dating apps and social media leads every woman to believe she has endless options, that there's always someone superior just a message away. Men's reactions to this have been woeful. Instead of insisting on accountability, they offer excuses for female conduct. Instead of opting out of a rigged game, they intensify their efforts to succeed in it. Instead of walking away from disrespectful women, they strive even more to satisfy them. The simping, the white knighting, the frantic attempts to prove themselves worthy, it all merely strengthens female disdain and promotes even worse behavior. The solution isn't to embrace this new reality. The solution isn't to become accepting of being cheated on, divorced and ruined. The solution is to acknowledge that the whole system is stacked against you and act accordingly. Don't marry, don't cohabitate, don't merge finances, don't have children within the legal framework. Safeguard yourself at every turn, because society won't shield you from unleashed female nature. If you're already married, enforce rigid boundaries, full financial openness, no separate social media accounts, no evenings out without you, no male friends, no communication with exes. Any breach means immediate repercussions, not negotiations, not talks, not therapy. Repercussions. She either honors the boundaries or she's out. And if she's out, she departs with nothing. Record everything. Every warning sign, every questionable action, every breach of trust. Assemble your evidence quietly and methodically. When the divorce arrives, and it likely will, you need ammunition. You need leverage. You need to be ready for battle, because that's what modern divorce represents. war where only one side realizes they're in a fight until it's too late. The marriage contract demands total overhaul, prenuptials that genuinely protect men, infidelity clauses with real enforcement, automatic paternal custody in instances of female adultery, equal financial accountability regardless of earnings, no alimony for anyone ever, child support based on actual expenses, not a percentage of income, make divorce painful for women, and observe how swiftly they rediscover commitment. But even with all safeguards, the risk stays enormous. Modern women have been conditioned for betrayal, motivated to dismantle families, compensated for violating commitments. They've been taught that their feelings outweigh their responsibilities, that their desires surpass their duties, that their happiness trumps their children's stability. This conditioning runs profound and can trigger at any time, obliterating everything you've constructed together. The virgin you marry, assuming she's secure, will develop retrospective fear of missing out and decide she needs to explore. The career woman you marry, thinking she's self-reliant, will quit her job and become reliant the instant she's legally entitled to your resources. The sweet girl you marry, believing she's unique, will absorb the cultural conditioning and become just like the rest. There are no secure wagers in this game. The most heartbreaking aspect is that women are ruining their own futures with this conduct. They're rendering themselves unmarriageable, making men reluctant to commit, making genuine partnership unattainable. They're generating generations of damaged children who will replicate their dysfunctional patterns. They're dismantling the very institution that provided them security and status for millennia. And for what? For the fleeting excitement of new partners and the deceptive promise of something superior that never comes to fruition. The generational harm builds with each repetition. Children who grow up observing their mothers cheat and leave, witnessing their fathers get devastated despite doing everything correctly, internalize these poisonous patterns. Boys learn that commitment results in ruin. Girls learn that betrayal brings rewards. Both learn that marriage is a battleground where one wins and one loses, rather than a collaboration where both can flourish. The surge of female-dominated parenting worsens everything. When women receive default custody, they raise children without substantial male influence. Sons mature without grasping masculinity, without acquiring male principles like honor, loyalty, and honoring your word. Daughters mature without observing how a good man behaves, without learning what to appreciate in a partner beyond his usefulness. Single mothers, embittered from their failed relationships, taint their children against their fathers and against the idea of enduring partnership. Female coaches and influencers magnify the devastation. They advise women that anything less than perpetual butterflies means settling. They advocate the notion that a woman should maintain a roster of men for various roles. One for emotional support, one for financial backing, one for sexual fulfillment, one for social prestige. They normalize cheating as sampling options and divorce as prioritizing oneself. They've transformed relationship ruin into a profitable enterprise, gaining from the turmoil they instigate. The biological clock manipulation is especially harsh. Women spend their 20s and early 30s indulging in casual encounters, extracting resources from beta males while engaging sexually with alpha males, convinced they have endless time and choices. Then abruptly, fertility turns pressing. They rush into marriage with the best provider available, have children rapidly. Then, once their biological drive is fulfilled, they realize they're not attracted to the man they utilized for reproduction. So they cheat, divorce, take the kids and resources, and attempt to pursue the alpha they always craved. Except now they're older with baggage, and the alphas they crave prefer younger women without children. The technology intended to connect us has made betrayal simple. Dating apps in her pocket mean she's perpetually one swipe from validation, attention, and alternatives. Instagram supplies endless male attention and the illusion of boundless options. Facebook reunites her with past lovers who recall her at her youngest and most attractive. LinkedIn allows her to carry out emotional affairs, disguised as professional networking. Every platform turns into a means for betrayal, and every notification becomes a dopamine rush affirming that she deserves more, better, different. The total lack of consequences has bred moral disorder. A woman can ruin multiple families, scar multiple groups of children, drain resources from multiple men, and society still views her as a victim on a path of self-discovery. There's no social disgrace, no legal penalty, no financial cost. In fact, she's frequently rewarded with sympathy, support, and resources. When bad conduct is rewarded and good conduct is punished, only fools opt for good conduct. By the time they grasp what they've lost, it's too late. The men they ruined have either reconstructed without them or been shattered irreparably. The children they scarred don't trust them. The families they deserted don't want them back. They wend up alone with their cats and their wine. And their resentful tales about how all men are garbage, never admitting that they're the ones who chose garbage conduct. This is why women cheat and still initiate divorce first. Because they can. Because they're compensated for it. Because society has eliminated all restrictions on female conduct while preserving all restrictions on male reactions. Because the legal system ensures they'll gain from their betrayal. Because the culture hails their destruction as empowerment. Because they've been conditioned to perceive commitment as oppression and betrayal as self-realization. Understanding this doesn't make it simpler to accept, but it does make it simpler to safeguard yourself. You're not interacting with the women of your grandfather's era. You're interacting with weaponized female nature set loose, an urge to demolish everything in its way. Your only protection is to decline to participate in the game. Decline to grant them the power to ruin you. Decline to believe that this time will differ. The women who cheat and file for divorce aren't outliers. They're not rotten apples. They're outcomes of a system engineered to produce precisely this result. A system that benefits from male ruin and female turmoil. A system that requires fractured families to generate reliant consumers. A system that dreads stable, robust, multi-generational families because such families don't rely on the system. Every institution that ought to safeguard families instead advances their demolition. Schools instruct girls that marriage is oppression. Media exalts female promiscuity. Courts compensate women for departing. Therapists affirm every destructive urge. Social networks supply limitless alternatives. Dating apps make replacement partners available instantly. The whole fabric of modern society is crafted to render female betrayal not just feasible but likely. And men continue stepping into the grinder, assuming their circumstance will vary, assuming she's not like that, assuming love will overcome all, assuming if they just exert enough effort, provide enough, sacrifice enough, she'll value it and remain loyal. But value and loyalty aren't in the conditioning anymore. They've been supplanted by entitlement and opportunism. This is the truth. This is what you're facing. Not just a single woman who might betray you, but an entire civilization that encourages, rewards, and celebrates that betrayal. You can either embrace this truth and protect yourself appropriately, or you can persist in believing in fairy tales and persist in getting ruined. The decision is yours. But don't claim you weren't alerted. The women filing for divorce after cheating aren't bewildered or torn. They're carrying out a strategy they've been taught since childhood. Maximize resource extraction. Minimize investment. Always scout for better options. Never be content. Prioritize feelings over commitments. And when it all collapses, portray the victim and seize everything. It's not personal. It's conditioning. And until the conditioning alters or the incentives alter, the conduct will persist. The ultimate tragedy is that everyone suffers in this system. Men lose their families, their resources, their children, their belief in love itself. Women lose their capacity to form pair bonds, their opportunity for enduring happiness, their children's respect. Children lose stable homes, positive role models, their opportunity to learn healthy relationship dynamics. Society loses strong families, stable communities, the bedrock of civilization itself. But the machine keeps grinding, keeps demolishing because demolition is profitable and stability is not. This is the world we've built. A world where the most basic unit of civilization, the family, has been converted into a temporary resource extraction venture, where the person most apt to wreck your life is the one you marry, where loving someone fully is the quickest route out to utter ruin, where being a good man, a loyal husband, a providing father designates you as a mark for exploitation rather than a partner deserving of loyalty. The solution demands radical transformation at every tier, but that transformation isn't arriving. The system gains too much from the existing chaos. Lawyers gain from divorce. Therapists gain from the harm. The state gains from broken families that require its services. Media gains from drama and dysfunction. No one with authority has any motivation to repair this, and everyone with motivation has no authority.